Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is off to a great start today. I'm actually just leaving the gym, so I'm running a little behind, but I definitely needed to get it in today. Today is Friday, so it's Focus Friday. So I decided to drop in on you while I'm on my way to the office. Look, check this out. Speaking of focus, we really are at a point in time where the lack of focus could cost us dearly. Not being focused on opportunity, not being focused on necessity, not being focused on the need for adaptation and change, not being focused on the need for preparation and planning. And I see so many people who have these aspirations, these desires, these dreams, these frustrations because they can't get where they feel they need to be, but they aren't focused on the things they need to be focused on. They're easily distracted and misled by the machine. The machine is the thing that's got you chasing pleasure over happiness. And I'm not going to get into that now, but I'm going to, over the next week, explain to you from a neurological perspective the difference between pleasure and happiness and how one leads to contentment and fulfillment, the other leads to addiction most times. But anyway, what I will tell you is today I'm offering my 6-month success and growth plan. This is a personalized plan that is specifically designed for you based on your strengths and your weaknesses, based on your personality type, based on your DISC assessment, your goals, where you are now, your assessment, where you are trying to go. It is a specified 6-month plan that is specific for you. Nobody else will have your plan. Offering that to you today. That's $99. If you get that, you will also get the Mind Unleashed course. I'm also offering you the Unleashing the Power of AI Master Course, which is $697, but this course is comprehensive. It's full of different ways and opportunities to use AI. If you have a business, to grow it, to expand it, to analyze data, customer intel, marketing analysis, the whole nine. If you don't have a company, to literally set up a plan for launching your company and bringing it to profitability. If you just have an idea, how to monetize that idea online. All of this is going to be in this course at $697, but if you get the course today, you also get the 7-day online business launch course, which will literally teach you how to launch a course, launch an online business in 7 days or less once you take the course. So you can get all of that. And that course is $600 by itself. You're going to get that for free. The information is in the description box. I don't want to go my whole time talking about this stuff, but I want people to start taking advantage of it, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to either adapt to what's going on or you're going to get left behind. That is the reality of it. Things are changing. You're not going to stop it from changing by complaining. You're not going to stop it from changing by pumping your fist. Things are changing. It's evolving. You're either going to become a basic victim of it, and so to speak, or are you going to become someone who masters it, leverages it, uses it? Changing technology has been happening. I'm old enough to remember when, if you saw somebody with a cell phone, you knew they had to be a multi-millionaire. You saw somebody with I remember car phones. Now everybody has a phone. Technology catches up. And no technology is growing faster than AI. You got to take advantage of stuff like that. Focus. One of the things that I think is so lacking in today's culture is focus. Why? Because it's so much stimuli floating through the airwaves, and everybody is picking up their devices to see what's going on. You know why? And we go back to this whole happiness versus pleasure thing. You know why? And the powers that be know this. Every time you pick up your phone, you don't even have to look at the screen. Just every time you pick up your phone, you actually get a dopamine rush. Now, everybody associates dopamine with positivity because it makes you feel good. Actually, dopamine has a very negative effect. Dopamine is the hormone behind addiction. There's a difference between dopamine and serotonin. Serotonin is an inhibitor. Dopamine is a stimulator. In other words, it makes neurons within the brain fire. So you get something that makes you feel good. You trigger dopamine. It causes the neurons to fire in the brain. So you got these neurosynaptic connections that connect and identify with any particular experience, and you get a dopamine rush. What happens is, as those neurons fire, they get active or they get overstimulated, and the more these neurons get overstimulated, it literally kills them. So you get less and less neurons within a certain area of the brain that then demands more and more of what you did to stimulate it. That's why you get somebody that gets high off of a joint that needs more, or whatever that stimulates you. That's why you get action junkies that are currently taking it to the next level. Why? Because the thing they did that gave them that dopamine rush in the beginning isn't giving it to them now. So they're chasing that high that eventually they never get again, because you've killed all the neurons, right? Okay, so on the flip side of things, there's serotonin. Serotonin is an inhibitor. What it does is it slows things down. It slows the way they fire. And what it does, it brings a calm. And this calm allows you to fulfill and feel a sense of contentment, irregardless to certain environments and situations. This isn't complacency, it's contentment. It's, in other words, I'm not going to be overly emotionally charged about any one particular thing. I'm working towards something, I'm building towards something, I get to enjoy it, I get the fulfillment. Pleasure, which is a result of dopamine, is very short-lived, and it's a constant chase. Happiness is a fulfillment and a contentment that can be long-standing and sustained. Everything you look around you is almost pleasure-centered. Matter of fact, people have now cross-defined what happiness is. Most people associate happiness with pleasure. Two totally different things, two distinctive things, arrive to in two totally different ways. But what happens? Because everybody's chasing pleasure, they're looking for the next big thing. They're looking for the next big rush. And they're burning themselves out, and they're not accomplishing anything. They're not sticking with anything, because I guarantee you, no matter how excited you get about something, dopamine, eventually the excitement wears down. That's relationships, that's jobs, that's cars, that's the clothes you buy, everything else. Eventually it wears down, and we call that in relationships the honeymoon phase, right? When the excitement wears down and real life kicks in. What it is the rush is gone, and now it's real life. What do you have within that relationship that is producing serotonin, that's producing a sense of contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of belonging, a sense of care, something that you can steady yourself in? But because we're chasing pleasure, you see so much disruption in relationships, because everybody's looking for the next big rush. And I don't care who he is or who she is, eventually it's going to be hard for them to get you to that rush, because what? You're burning up the neurons that literally are responding to the dopamine. So then you don't get the feeling. And the fewer neurons, the more dopamine it takes. And then eventually you just can't produce enough dopamine to get the feeling of the high anymore. And so now you feel like the thrill is gone. And what do you say? I've fallen out of love. No, it wasn't love. It was a dopamine rush. And now you've burned out on it. And now you're addicted to that feeling that you can't get. And you start looking for it elsewhere. And what happens is a new feeling is created and new dopamine and new neurons are assaulted, and you think you got it again, but all you're doing is fulfilling an old addiction instead of true contentment. And you see it. Why do you think everybody's lined up to get the Jordans? Why do you think everybody's lined up to get the next iPhone? Why do you think everybody's talking about the next car they're gonna get? All of this stuff, the trips they're taking, all this stuff, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But when it's based on a dopamine rush, and it's hard to do. People are gambling. People have sex addictions, porn addictions, gambling addictions. All these things come from that same thing, the seeking of pleasure. And so everybody's chasing this thing, right? And nobody's fulfilled. Everybody's going to different things. Characters being corrupted because everybody's chasing this thing. And so My thing is focus on the things that have sustainability, that settle you, not get you excited, that settle you. Because in the settling of your spirit, in the settling of your emotions, in the settling of the firing of your neurological system, your nervous system, is where you find contentment. It is in the contentment that you're able to build happiness. And happiness is being elated, but it is not being excited. And you have to understand, we arrive at these things from two completely different places. So my thing is, and I want to encourage you, really truly be honest with yourself. And a lot of times you're not going to be able to work this out without professional help, because you're so enthroned in the throes of things that it's going to be harder to decipher or discern or interpret the difference between what is dopamine driven and what is serotonin produced. And that's going to be the difference in the overall consistency in what you interpret as happiness, what you interpret as fulfillment, but also it's going to be the capacity to produce the things that matter to you. And you're going to be able to determine, okay, am I really chasing this because of the rush, or am I chasing this because it really has meaning to me? What is the real true why behind it? And then you can sit up and say, okay, this is why I'm doing it. It has meaning. And then you can anchor yourself in it. You can find the contentment and the fulfillment in it. And you can see the longevity and the endurance that's going to be necessary to fulfill it. So many people are chasing things and get tired and switch to the next thing because they're burning out on it. And if they don't burn out on it, they become addicted to it. And then the addiction leads to addictive behaviors, and they are never good. You can have something that's actually a good thing and become addicted to it, and it will destroy your life. It's amazing. So you got to be real careful. And the powers that be understand the difference. The people who design the phone to give you a dopamine rush. They want you to pick it up because everything on the phone is also manipulative. Everything on the phone is also coercive. Everything on the phone is also driving and pushing you to do something that benefits the people who are behind the design, the people who are behind the marketing, the people who are behind different things. And we're chasing it all and feeling less and less fulfilled. The politicians, the governments, the major corporations all understand this. So there's even studies that show that voting is literally driven by a dopamine rush, especially when it comes to the Black collective. The thing we get the most out of our votes, especially on a national level, is the excitement we get when our candidate wins, because rarely do we get anything else after that. Nothing of any real, true, substantive value. Nothing that we can literally say, okay, we were promised this and we got it. But our candidate won, and the dude we hate lost. And we literally get excited about it. And that's what we live for. We literally live for. That's why so many people have these little excitement fests when something bad happens to a candidate they don't like. And they don't realize that it actually has no intrinsic value in their life because they are in the middle of a dopamine rush. And chasing dopamine rushes almost always mean that you're not pursuing the things that really add value to your life. So again, I'm going to challenge you to really start to look and question. You know, I only have a few spots open, and I didn't put those in the description box for a reason. But if you want to work with me, I have a few spots open. I am not, by general definition, cheap, but I'm extremely good. But I tell you what, whatever the situation is, you're going to need to find solid ground, get focused on the things that really truly have value. And in small quantities, there's nothing wrong with dopamine. But when it becomes the driving force, it produces addictive behavior. That's the bottom line. And I'm going to give you more and more on that in coming weeks. But that's been something that in recent time that's really looking at me. I've been talking about this whole dopamine thing for a while, though. If you ever remember, I tell you, I don't even pick up my phone the first hour of the day. You know why? Because I don't control it. I want to maintain my personal sovereignty. I want to set my state before I see what's on the phone, whether it's good or bad. I don't want something I don't control setting my state. I want to set my state. So I set my state at a state of gratitude minimum. So the first word out of my mouth every day is thank you. And I don't need something exciting. I don't need something wonderful. I don't need $1 million deal on the table to be able to say thank you. Number one is I can be thankful for the life I've already lived. Then I can be thankful that the fact that I'm still living. Then I can be thankful that as I move through this day, I'm going to touch somebody's lives. I'm going to inspire somebody to do something. It's simply the way I move. It's simply the way I operate. It's going to happen. And so I'm blessed in that area. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that, you know, I got these beautiful children that depend on me. Sometimes they can't stand me. Sometimes they love me to death, but they depend on me. And God trusted me with them. And I get to get better at doing what I do. Even with my oldest, who will be 38 in a couple of months. I get to do this thing with them. And to me, that's unimaginable. I'm thankful that at some point, you know, I'm going to experience love again. I'm thankful. And in that, I stabilize myself. None of that stuff is anything you sit up and say, oh man, you jump on, you run around the house because it happened. But it's anchoring and it's solid and it's consistent. And it produces serotonin versus dopamine. Just something to think about. Again, if you don't have a plan, you need to sign up for the Ascension personalized 6 months success and growth plan. Also, you need, and you'll get the Mind Unleashed course, or you can sign up for the Unleashing the Power of AI course and get the 7-day online business launch course free. So either way, you're going to get something beyond what the value of the course is worth, and the value of the course is actually greater than what is being charged in the first place. But I'm not going to get into that if you don't see it. But I'm telling you, the AI thing is something everybody needs to be on. A lot of people are upset about AI, and I get it because there are a lot of slippery slopes. But I tell you what, I'd rather be facing and fighting those slippery slopes, understanding what's happening, than facing and fighting those slippery slopes just mad because it's there and don't have a clue of what's going on. We consistently lose because we don't understand how things work, period. You're going to adapt or you're going to get left behind. Adapt, even if you want to fight it, adapt and learn it so that you understand what's going on with it. So you understand how to fight it. So you understand how to overcome it. So you understand how to create a strategy to win without it. But if you don't know what's going on, you're going to lose. That's the truth. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I want to really thank you guys for allowing me to spend some time with you this morning, and I will check in on you